hold on to your gold and silver in a precious metals bull market. And this is more than a bull market. This is surviving financially. This is the mother of all big shorts, really. And what's the short? Well, it's the dollar and all other fiat currencies. Monday, February 22nd, 2021, Maneco 64, home of alternative economics and contrarian views. So Michael Burry, the main character in The Big Short, is now warning of inflation and even hyperinflation. So we're going to go over that today. I've been warning about hyperinflation. I've been warning about inflation. Of course, there's the old saying that only 1 in a million people know about inflation, and that's how they're able to destroy the bourgeoisie. Governments are able to inflate the system with their central banks. And very few people will know what's happening. And nothing's changed. Even the main economists, mainstream economists, analysts, central bankers, they've all forgotten what inflation really is. It's simply the increase, inordinate increase in the supply of money and credit, resulting in higher prices. But hyperinflation is even a step further. It's the revulsion towards the fiat currency. And as Voltaire once said, the only thing good or not good, the only thing certain about fiat currencies or paper money is that they will revert to their original intrinsic value, which is zero, paper money. Historically, whenever governments institute legal tender currencies, the only way those legal tender currencies will go is down towards zero. Yes, the fiat dollar has survived a long time, but it's no exception. And when we reach the bottom, and I've been writing about this and warning people since 2007, maybe even a little earlier, but I do have proof here that I've written this article. It's posted on marketoracle.co.uk, and I've been making videos about this for the last 5 years, about the fiat currency sinking. So I'm not surprised that Michael Burry has come out and said that he thinks it's all going to end in tears. And as Rothbard said as well, when governments and central bankers become oppressive, when they use the currency to extract wealth from the public, and when the public becomes aware of that, the only way to fight that government and central bank is to basically do a run on the bank, so to speak, a run on the system. And going to gold and silver, physical that is a run on the fiat currency system. And I want to quote again, and this is really important, Felix Sommery, who was the Raven of Zurich, one of the most influential bankers in the early 1900s, in the first half of the 1900s in Europe and even in the United States. This is what he said here, and I quote, "Inflation, on the other hand, can go on for years without its victims becoming conscious of the incredible way in which they have been swindled." So that's what he said. We've had inflation for, well, I would say since 1981. It's gotten worse, of course, since Greenspan came to the Fed back in '87. It really got bad in the 21st century. Got worse in 2008 and 9 with all the bailouts, all the QE, all the debt and credit that they had to pump into the system. And it got really, really out of hand last March. But I'm afraid this time around, they won't be able to put, Humpty Dumpty is gonna, he's not gonna come back up again. They're not gonna be able to save the system again, because the whole thing is gonna implode. And that's what hyperinflation is. It's the complete loss of confidence in the currency. You don't have to have a strong economy It's the contrary. You have to have the symptoms of economic malaise, a Great Depression, a lot of debt, political unrest, social unrest, instability, and we've got all those ingredients. So I agree 100% with Michael Burry, and he's warning. This is what he said. I'll look at his tweet here. The U.S. government is inviting inflation with its MMT-tinged policies. Brisk debt to GDP, M2 increases, while retail sales PMI stage V recovery, trillions more stimulus and reopening to boost demand as employee and supply chain costs skyrocket. So he goes on to talk about, he makes other tweets here. So it's like a tweet storm, they call it. And he says that the life of inflation in its ripening stage was a paradox which had its own unmistakable characteristics. One was the great wealth, at least of those favored by the boom. Many great fortunes sprang up overnight. The cities had an aimless and wanton youth. He's looking at Weimar Germany. I've got a book here and I'm going to reference and talk about something here that can happen when this is going on. I'm not sure where he got those from. It could have been from here. Prices in Germany were steady and both business and the stock market were booming. The exchange rate of the mark against the dollar and other currencies actually rose for a time, and the mark was momentarily the strongest currency in the world on inflation's eve. Yeah, that's actually what I was reading the other day. There's a section here that talks about how the mark actually recovered. So it's on page 62 of When Money Dies by Adam Ferguson, and it says, on December 1st, 1921, so the hyperinflation got really bad, culminated in 1923. It says the mark soared upwards, regaining a quarter of its November value. By the time it reached 751 to the pound against its November average of 1,041, the paper mark prices of many stocks and shares, although still well above the levels of December 1920, had declined by half or more, while the Reichsbank was buying foreign currencies heavily. So he was right. Can you imagine people back then who, well, the very few people who knew what was coming and they saw this rebound in the mark, did they get shaken out and go back into the mark? Hopefully not. And this is what's going on here now. And we have to look at the dollar, not versus other fiat currencies, because they're all going to sink. And I've always said that, even though looking at the dollar index is not a bad indicator, but the real currencies we have to look against are real money, gold and silver. Yes, the dollar has rebounded since last summer against gold. But I think it's that moment there that they had back in Germany when the mark rebounded massively, right? And I think that's what we're seeing. So that's why I've said many times as well, hold on to your gold and silver in a precious metals bull market. And this is more than a bull market. This is surviving financially. This is the mother of all big shorts, really. And what's the short? Well, it's the dollar and all other fiat currencies that are part of the system. Don't be tricked, or don't be fooled into thinking that all the other fiat currencies are going to survive. No, they're not. They're all going to go to zero. They're all going to sink. And hopefully a lot of you who have been listening to my videos have prepared yourselves. And if you haven't, I think you still have a bit of time. But it's I think it's getting very close to when we won't have any more time to protect ourselves. Yeah, there's the old Chinese, it's not a proverb or saying, but the fact that the word crisis and opportunity is the same character, I think, in Chinese. I think that's how things are going to be. It's not going to be the end of the world. It's probably going to be a very positive thing in the long term that this system gets flushed down the toilet and we go hopefully to something better. It's going to depend on individuals, each one of us, and I'm going to keep trying to inform people about the nature of the monetary system that I think we're going to get out of, hopefully, and what money is all about, that it's only a measure of value. And if we screw around with the way we measure value, we screw around with everything, because in the modern economy, we do need money in order to have specialization so people can, specialize and do what they do best. But if we destroy the money and the currency, we go back to, a very dark world. So yes, we need to keep informing people about money, about what it really is. Yes, it's important, but more important than money is really creating wealth, creating services, products, exchanging goods and services voluntarily amongst people, and not screwing them with bad money. So yes, Michael Burry, I agree with him. I think we're very close, and I think very, very few people will know what's going on. Unfortunately, the vast majority will not see this coming, and that's very unfortunate. But who's to blame for that? Well, I would say the mainstream media, academia, government, they've all kept this illusion of wealth going, because they all benefit from it. But I think we're coming very close to it. So with that, let's look at where the markets are this morning. It's 8:30 a.m. London time. So let's quickly look here. So we've got spot gold up about $8, around $17.92. The high's been $17.96, low $17.73. So gold is doing fairly well. Silver has been up as high as $27.72. These, of course, are paper prices. In the real world, I think it's getting harder and harder to access physical gold and silver unless you pay a huge premium, and even then you're going to have to wait a long time to get the delivery of the metals. So silver right now is $27.32, up only 5 cents. So silver's come off a little bit here. Dow futures down 216, NASDAQ 100 futures down 187, S&P is down 38. The currencies are down a little bit against the dollar here. We've got the pound back below 140. It's down about 10 pips. The euro's down about 0.2% at around 121. Dollar's a little stronger against the yen, 105.80, up a third. Dollar's up 0.2 versus the Chinese yuan at 647. But the big thing happening this morning or overnight are commodities again. High-grade copper, we got up to $4.22, $4.22. Last Friday, we broke through $4 for the first time in many, many years. So yeah, copper's continuing to go up. That's, as I've said before, a sign of dollar weakness. When real things, tangible assets, go up in value versus the currency, that's not a good sign. Yes, we've been told that that's because of reflation, but I think it's worse than that. So right now, copper though has come off the highs, but it's still up 1% at 411.40. WTI crude is up 0.2% at 59.54. So the bond market as well is continuing to not do the right thing for the powers that be. We got up to almost 140 already this morning, or overnight, if you want to call it. Right now we're at 138, up just over 3 basis points. The 30-year yield has gotten up to 219. Right now it's at 217. The key level is around 147 to 150 in terms of yields. What does it mean the yield's going up? Is it a good thing? No, it's a bad thing, because in bonds, when the yield goes up, it means the prices are going down. And the higher the yields go, the more difficult it's going to be for not just the US government, the Treasury, to borrow money, because it's going to cost more, but the whole economy, because a lot of interest rates for all kinds of loans, bonds, are all set off the back of the 10-year and the 30-year. So things are not looking great in the system right now. I think we could get to 150 even today. That's how bad things are right now. I don't think we're going to have to wait till the end of the week. So yes, patience as well. And it sounds strange saying you have to be patient to wait for the system to implode, because who'd want that to happen, right? But unfortunately, I'm not trying to be negative. I'm just trying to be a realist. I've studied and researched a lot about the subject of currency, of money, of hyperinflation for many years. And I don't see a way out. The only way out, and that won't be good either, is for the Fed to start reining in the accommodation, to start raising rates, to start unwinding or selling its balance sheet. And if they do that, it's going to be just as bad as a currency collapse. So there you go. Hopefully I didn't depress you that much, but that's what's going on. And Billy knows it, and that's why he's holding on to his silver as well. Billy is a silver bug, for those of you who don't know. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit the like button. Please share it far and wide. Think about subscribing to my channel if you haven't yet. And you can also follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and all these other platforms below. I wish you all a great start to the week. Take care. Bye.